Hey guys, and welcome to another season of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, we uncover the remarkable power of genuine compassion and insightful vision. This season, we're here to show the world that we, as individuals, are the brand, regardless of misconceptions. Join us as we go deep into the inspiring journeys of our guests, each one a testament to the impact and influence of kindness and creativity. Don't just take my word for it. Hear their stories, feel their passion, and discover the transformative potential within us all. So stay tuned as we shine a light on the truths that connects us and inspires change.
Hi, my name is Judith Jacob. I am an actress. I am a DJ. Not really. I play music. I don't know. I'm a singer, but only in my own head. And I teach fitness. And you are listening to the Us People podcast with Savia Rocks. Whoop!
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I am humbled to have Judith Jacob here with me. Some of you might know her from EastEnders, The Real McCoy, but there is so much more to Judith than you can possibly imagine. She's smiling, she's laughing. I like that. That's a good way to start the show. Judith, thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People podcast. How are you?
Absolute pleasure, and I'm fantastic. The sun is shining, and that means I'm very happy.
Well, she's just come out of her steam and her sauna. She's looking fresh. This is what I like. So my first question for you, Judith, is could you tell me about yourself, where you grew up and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
Well, I grew up in Finsbury Park, North London. And my childhood is really interesting because as a child, it was free. And I was doing lots of stuff and still not doing a lot of stuff because it's Caribbean parents. So you have to ask to do everything. You have to ask to have biscuit. You have to ask. And it's only as an adult you realise that, because as a child you don't realise you have no money.
That's true.
Because your parents won't let you know that.
Yep.
And it's only when you become an adult you realise, that's why you had to ask for everything.
Yes.
Because otherwise we'd eat them and drink them out of house and home in 2 days. Because it's 5 of us all together. It was 4 to begin with. And then my sister, my baby sister came, she's 9 years younger than me. So that's how long she was before she came into the picture. So it was just us 4 to begin with.
Whoa.
And Finsbury Park, we were in a top floor. It was a house, and we were top of the house with 1 bedroom.
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah, 1 bedroom.
Yep.
And so our parents stayed in the front room and we shared the bedroom, the 4 of us. And and at some point it changed and my parents went into the bedroom and we took the front room because we had 2 sofa beds. So there were sofas and they came to sofa beds and we slept on that. So it made us tight. You know, when you grow up like that, it keeps you really tight as families. Since your siblings are like your best friends as well as your siblings. So you can hate them in equal measures as loving.
I love that. See, this is the part I love, because I know so many families, when I used to live in a block of flats, who were in the same predicament where they didn't have much. And also Caribbean parents who came over, they also shared. So, for example, my grandma and my grandfather, they shared with cousins as well. So it was so different back then compared to now. The kids are lucky now.
Yes, but we haven't got that, because what you just said about sharing, they actually worked together.
There you go.
In order for them to they help support each other financially, physically, to look after the children. When one person's working, the other person would look after their children for them. So that community, I think, is missing on a whole. But they certainly backed each other, and there was a thing called partner. I don't know if you know it. Some people call it susu.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Susu.
That's the one. Yeah.
Which was amazing, and that's a trust thing, because if you've got your hand, that's what they call it when you get your money. You got your hand. You still got to keep paying each week, so that everybody,
in a circle
till everybody gets their money.
Yep.
And I think the majority of the time, everybody done what they should have done.
I wish they'd done that now.
Well, I'm in one now. I'm only in it because it just brings me. I don't need to be in a partner.
Yeah.
But I like that being a partner. And you go, oh, when am I going to get your hand? Then you get this money all in one lump sum. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But I've heard stories that it's normally the husband that take the partner money. And that's when people have still got to get their draw. Oh, wow. It's caused a whole heap of upset.
I can only imagine.
Because it's a trust. And people are giving you their money. And that money is really hard to give. Yeah. Because it means that we now can't do what we would like to do in the house. And then you don't get your partner money? Oh, no. That's debt. Debt talking.
Oh man, so my next one for you is, can you define yourself as a person, but also who you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror, Judith, and not recognized the person staring at you? How did you manage to go from a person that you felt like, okay, am I living the purpose that I want? Am I happy? Am I where I want to be? To becoming a person who is comfortable in their skin, confident? Because I remember before, you said, your father said that you were intelligent and you had the confidence. So can you tell me a time when you didn't feel like that, to becoming that person that you wanted to be?
I think I believed my dad. Yeah. So from a very young age, from very, very, like as soon as I could remember talking and walking, I've been given this stature of, and I think it's because I was also the firstborn in this country. And I do think that makes a difference.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because they came here for education for their children.
Understood that one.
So I was the firstborn here. And then my dad, it's definitely my dad. My mum was a nurturer and it was very much part of my life.
I like
that dad, but my dad was the one that really instilled that you are this person, and don't let nobody tell you nothing. And because I was also called Egg as a child.
Egg?
Yes. Because I cried really easily.
Okay.
And my dad said, you will be teased. Everybody will tease you if they can see that you'll cry at the slightest thing. Stop it. It didn't help. I still cried. But he kept saying, I wish he was born in the Caribbean, because if you were born in the Caribbean, you wouldn't be so stupid. I was like,
that's not true. That's not true.
He couldn't believe it. Any insect, I'll be screaming. A little fly, running away, almost going to kill myself because I'm trying to run away from the fly. He could not believe how pathetic I was about insects and stuff. And that's why he said, if I was in the Caribbean, I wouldn't be so stupid. Yeah, so my dad had this whole thing about arming me mentally and physically. But my mum was the one that you don't play with my mum. I remember I was at drama. I was coming back from drama, and there was some people in the drama who were following me, and they were taking the mickey out of me, and I was upset, and I came home. I was like, and I said, what's happened? Oh, they were I thought they were going to beat me. And what did you do? Nothing. What do you mean, what did I do? I just told you 3 of them were following me, and I didn't know what to do. No, that was not good enough for my mother. Right. My mum's not alive, so nobody can come to me, right? But my mum, there's an ottoman. It's like a case, but it's got legs on it.
Yes.
And my mum took one of the legs off, took a knife and shaved the edge of it.
Wow, what's she doing? Making a bow and arrow?
Making a homegrown knife, basically, because it made it sharp at the end. Put it in my bag and said, right, don't come home crying.
She's making you an assassin at an early age. Your mum is your mum was undercover. She was CIA or something.
My mum was definitely, you don't play my mum. My mum, we were down, I don't know the way to explain it, but if you think of a long road, we lived at one end of the road and we were down the other end, and this man was carrying on and cussing us and doing all kinds of stuff. I don't know where my mother come from. My mother was there with some hatchet in her hand. Don't touch my children. And I was like, what? We didn't know what to do. We were like proud and scared, both in equal measures. Like, that man can't touch us, but like, my mum's going to go to prison. What is she doing? My mum's a soldier. You don't play with my mum. You don't play with her children. You don't play with my mum.
Your mum? Well, I don't want to go nowhere near your mum.
I'm telling you, my mum was a soldier. You'd think I would have got some of that. All of my siblings have got my mother's attitude. I'm the weakling in the family. I'm the one don't fight. I'd rather talk. I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm the talker as well. I'm like, communication, come on, we can sort this out.
We can sort this
Not
out.
the murderer.
No.
I bet you that man never touched your mum again, though.
Touch us. It was us. She heard that somebody was troubling her children. So that's why she come down that road with her axe in her hand to say, hey, you don't touch my children. That man disappeared so quickly. He had so much mark for children. He seen my mother coming down the road, and my mum weren't playing. She was marching down that road like she was in the army. March, 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 march. We said, oh, here comes mother.
But that's good. So was your mum the ringleader when it comes to, because sometimes dads can pretend that they are the leader when really it's the mother.
Yeah, my mum was the one. My poor dad is working all day, comes home, and my mum saying, yes, they misbehaved, they did this, and she just sat there waiting for my dad to punish us. Poor man, don't even know what's going on. He's got to become Mr. Roughneck and try to beat us and tell us off. And I can't tell you, you don't know what happened. Yeah, my mum was the instigator. She was the one that would go, Henry. You see what they, yes, Mary and Henry. Jeez, what names.
Do you know how many Henrys is? My granddad was Henry too, and there was Georges.
What is it with these Henrys?
And Georges.
But we don't have many Henrys now.
No.
Because everybody's like, I'm not naming my child Henry. Oh, yeah, love my dad. The thing is, my relationship with my dad is very different to my siblings.
Okay.
But my
That makes
dad,
sense.
yeah, love my dad.
Oh, man. So talk to me about how you got into acting, because that's something as well. I know your dad was a detrimental part in, you know, nurturing you, giving you that confidence. And I find it really intriguing to know that, because I know there's always a parent that not gives you necessarily a bit more love, but just nurtures you a bit more. So please talk to me about why you became, you know, an actress. And
Always wanted to be an actress.
Yeah.
Always was. Primary school, I was always doing all the school plays. I was the actress as far as I was concerned. And my dad was the one that was very sensible in that, Judith, there's no black people on television.
Right, that's not a bad thing, because you can be the first.
Right? So I'm like, oh, okay, that wasn't a problem to me. And then my mother bought me this book that showed the life of an actress, where they have to wake up at 4, get to the makeup for 6, in makeups for 4 hours, and they're out work until 10. It all starts again. I went, oh my God, this is me. I want this life. My mum went, you don't even like getting up out of your bed. I showed you this to let you know how early you have to get up. I was like, to act? I'm there. So that didn't work. And then when I got my first acting job, I was at school 13, because I went to a place called Anna Shear's Theatre.
Yes.
And when I went there was a waiting list of 6 months, and I thought that was an eternity. Well, it changed like 3 years later on by the time other people started to go there. So I had an audition, got this job, and my first job, I was a Donny Osmond fan. And credibility wasn't good because Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5 was around, and I was at Osmond. I was like, why are you making me an Osmond fan? You know, I ain't got the confidence to know me nothing. I'm just going to do the lines I'm given. But when you go home, you're all bragging, I should have said I want Jackson 5. But I didn't say any of that. I just said all the lines properly. So that was me. And my, it was a jumping beanbag. It was originally called slag bag, but imagine slag bag was too bad of a word to use on television. We've got far away from that now, haven't we?
Well, I can't even say what they say now, but
That's right. You can't say it, no. You can say it, no. But so it changed from slag bag to jumping beanbag because slag bag was just too much of a bad word to use. And my brother, because it was like 9 o'clock at night, it was a BBC Play for Today.
yes.
And my brother was running around telling all his friends, get in, go watch my sister, my sister. He missed it, because he was out on road trying to make sure all of his friends were inside to watch it. So by the time he comes in, he goes, yeah. I said, it's gone, Elliot. We've done, my bit's gone.
Oh.
No.
Oh, man. You see how bad But you know what? He's a supporter. That is not a bad thing. If you have supporters like that and they're your family as well.
Yeah, my brother was definitely one of those ones. It was interesting because I was at school, I was still acting. And then I was 17 when I was going to be doing my A-levels.
Yeah.
The idea was I would be the first to go to uni. That was the plan.
Yep, I heard that as well.
You know, right?
Yep, I know those ones.
Then I had the audition for Angels. And I got the job.
There you go.
Which meant no university for me. My mum was ecstatic. My dad was like, oh, there's no security in this business. How you know what's going to happen after that? And my mum's like, Henry, she's got the job she wants. Leave her alone.
See?
Yeah, exactly. She was so happy for that.
See?
She got me this pendant that had the date on it, which was the 7th of the 6th, 79. And beautiful pendant, 'cause it marked the day that I got the job. And then on the night of, so I'm in Birmingham, and then the night of it showing, the next day it would have been shown at the night. In the morning I got a phone call from my dad to say, because I'm in Birmingham, to let me know that my mother had passed. So my mother didn't ever get to see the show, because the day it was meant to be on, she died the night before. After her whole thing, it was just quite, it was.
That's emotional.
It was really tough to think that my mum was the one supporting anything. But the beautiful thing is, in retrospect, I can respect that she went to Grenada. Grenada's where my parents were born.
Yeah.
And she hadn't been to Grenada since she'd been in England.
Yeah.
She went to Grenada, came back home. They thought she had a bite. She had a thing called sarcoidosis, which is like sickle cell. It's African Caribbean people that gets it. You get a lump that grows on your body. It's not malignant, but where it grows can irritate. My mum's grew in her lung, which meant she was constantly coughing. And when she was over there, apparently she was the best she'd ever been when she was in Grenada. And I've got to do with the air and things. It's molecules and stuff that dust would irritate her lungs.
Yes.
But when she was over there, her brother was feeding her. My mum was people smoking weed. My uncle fed her weed tea, and she drank it. And I thought, right, you have nothing to say when you come back here, because she's bragging. Oh, my brother gave me weed tea. Weed tea. I went, you drank it? Yes, my brother gave it to me. So she was proud that her brother was looking after her. So it was obviously doing her well. She came on the flight, came back. They said she had a bite. She went straight from the airport to the hospital, and she just never left the hospital. But she got to see her brothers.
I like that.
She got to see them.
I always say, I know in life sometimes there's sad moments in our lives, but at the same time, everything happens for a blessed reason. Yeah. And I always believe in that phrase. And I know sometimes it may be like, why did it happen now? Why did it? But at the same time, I think there was a happiness in her heart.
I agree with that. She got to see her brothers and her mum, people that she had, her sisters. My mum lamented every year that she has not got not one of her family members in England, whereas my dad had all of his family.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
So your dad was more content because he could just walk out, go out, whereas your mum, she had this wantingness to see her family and be around her family, because those are her roots where she was over there, and those are where her family was. But having that bondingness, like you talk about your siblings and having that bonding. Yes,
exactly.
It is important for you to have that. And if you don't have that, there's like a disconnect from you.
And also, if you've had an argument, you can go to your siblings and go, I hate them.
But she couldn't do that.
But she couldn't do that. She didn't have that outlet.
So she most probably festered so much inside of her that she never let out. So most probably her going gave her that chance to just release everything.
Agree.
And then say, you know what, if it's my time, it's my time. Because I realize that, West Indians or wherever you're from, they kind of have that mindset of it. If it's my time, it's my time.
Yes, they do,
and there's a peacefulness to it. And
the acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish that so much of the generations now could understand that, where there's a lot more anger. I'm sure we can get into it, but in this generation now, I feel there's a lot more anger in the world towards things.
Yeah, it's very disposable. That's what we've got, a disposable society. When we were growing up, we tried to, if you had a hole in your socks, you sewed the hole up so that you can carry on. Now you've got a hole, you throw the whole thing away. So it's it's very disposable. We're very capitalist, and it doesn't matter. When they talk about green and recycling, they don't mean it.
No.
Because you can't mean it if you live in a capitalist world, because you need to just, everybody at the top needs to just keep making more and more and more money. And that means we have disposables. Because if we really cared, we wouldn't be having landfills like we have, because we would be using them over again. And
I know a lot about collateral that people see. I know it's going to be a bit political, but sometimes the people at the top see the people at the bottom just as collateral damage.
Oh, yeah, and to feed them. We give them money. And when they talk about pay rises, oh, why should you have a pay rise? That means the rich people are going to leave the country. Wait a minute. So for them to stay, I must not be able to eat properly. Is that what we're saying? And that's what they say.
Pretty much.
And they make you feel bad about it. Oh, well, I don't want rich people to leave. Oh, no, don't give me a pay rise. Why should I care? Let them go.
It's a form of manipulation.
It is.
It's a form of manipulation. I was doing some research, and I think it was just last year alone, there was a certain amount of millionaires that have left London. But that's not because of us.
No.
That's because of the tax that you're taxing them for them to stay in the country anyways, because they're millionaires. So they're leaving anyways. So there's so many, they're trying to manipulate, the people who might not have the knowledge of this. And that's why I always say to people, it's good for you to read. It's good for you to go on the internet. You can filter out all the rubbish, and then and I always say your gut feeling always tells you whether it's right or it's wrong. You always know that. So just gain knowledge by doing your research. But it's not us. That's just a form of manipulation to make us feel bad.
And I don't feel bad. I don't know why I should feel bad.
Yeah,
go.
Like me.
If you want to go, go. I don't see why people who are the most vulnerable, they should be taxed. They should cut their benefits. Hello. And you think it's better to do that than to tax the people who have so much money they can't even spend it in 4 lifetimes.
You know what? I was just about to say that also. When you do not take the money with you when you die, number one, I always say that. Number two, even when you die, you're still going to have lots more money than you even needed in the first place. Number three, the tax man will take that money if you don't have a will. Yeah. And number four, if your family are fighting over it and none of you can come up with, a full explanation, because I used to study law, they'll still take your money anyways. So you're not going to win.
They win all the time. It's a game of cards that you're not going to win.
So this is why I say, in life, there are the simplicities of life are the best things in life. The things that make you happy. As long as you are not hurting anybody in doing what you are doing, and it's making you abundantly happy to do those things, do them. Because happiness is key to a lot more things than money. Yes, we need money in order to survive and to live and to look after our families. But at the same time, there is a happiness which brings peace, which brings love, and so many other ambient things. That's what we need. And I wish for the world, and I always say this, I wish there was a lot more of that. And there can be if we change our mindsets.
Yeah, but we are definitely, right now, we have the most right-wing press, right-wing media, and other voices are being shut out, and we've never been so polarized. We are definitely more there than we ever have been. The voices of the Corbyns and the Tony Benns, their voices are almost whispers now.
One thing I do want to ask you is, tell me about a time that you overcame an obstacle because of your passion for what you do. I would love to hear a story.
Yeah, I was saying, oh God, Judy, you've been so sheltered, because I have. And
that's not a bad thing.
No,
anyway.
It's not a bad thing. But I realised how sheltered I have been when I talk and I do stuff, and people come out with yes, this, that, and that, and I went, okay, what have I had? No, not really. No, I've had an instance. But it wasn't even me. I was doing Angels, and it was just a line in the script that somebody else was saying. Yeah. And I wasn't in the scene, but I didn't like the way it was written. The line was, I've always wondered why the palms of their hands were white. And I thought, that's something to discuss in a monkey. What do you mean you've always wondered why the palms of their hands?
Even the way you said that just now, it kind of trickled something in me.
Yeah, and me. And I read it, and I was so not happy. And by this time, because I've heard other stuff before, and it just goes over my head, and I'm starting to get more aware of what language is being used and what it means when people do things. And it wasn't me. And Gary Mack was in the scene. I said to Gary, look, what do you think about this line? He said, what do you think, Jude? What do you think? What? I said, well, I'm not happy with it. He goes, all right, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to have a word with our producer, Julia Smith, but before I do that, we need to know what our bottom line is.
Yes.
So are you prepared to lose your job if they don't change it? And he went, if you want to go there, we'll go there. Gary's in the, I've been in it longer than he was. He's just come in as my bro. But he was backing me, whatever I want to do with that line, he's going to be there with me.
I like that.
I did. That was beautiful. Plus, I wasn't even in the scene, so it had nothing to do with me. It was him. So I took Julia aside and I said, Julia, I'm really not happy with this line. It makes me feel like it's, so we'll just take it out. I went, oh. Is
just
that
like
it?
that.
Just like that.
Just like
so we
that.
built up this whole image of we're going to fight for this. They're going to tell us this and we're going to have this to say. And it was like, oh, we'll just take it out. It's offensive. Let's take it out.
See, I like that. Because sometimes you get good writers who will take out something and think, no, it's not good. Because as a writer, you know if something's good or not good, but you still put it in there to see whether or not it will impact or if there will be any implications on the other person's behalf.
Well, and sometimes people are just caught up in their own world.
You make up these stories in your mind.
And they decide that this is okay to say.
Yeah.
And then if we don't say nothing, it will be go. And this was Julia Smith was the producer on it, and it was her and Tony Holland that done Angels. And so they'd asked me to do EastEnders. So there was a lot of respect for each other. They knew me, exactly. They knew me from the child that left school to come and do Angels. Yeah. And I'd grown up in the media, basically. And then, so when I had that conversation with her, I was so nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I can't believe that she went, oh, we'll just take it out. That was it. I went, oh. I went to Gary, it's okay, we've still got a job. That was one of my most defiant moments I've had.
No, I like it because at the end of the day, the way you see it is if you fight for something that you feel is right, regardless of who the person is, it helps other people. Now you've given Gary and you said to him, you know what? You've given him that inkling in his mind. No matter what happens in his career, he has the right to fight for it.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a massive thing. So one of the things I also want to talk to you about is music. Right. Music plays an integral part in each and every one of us. It doesn't matter when, but music can also save your life in many situations, depending on what you're going through in your life. If I said to you, if there's a song that is a soundtrack of your life, what song would you choose and why?
Right, well, Dennis Emmanuel Brown, I should say, is my all-time superstar. Loved that man, and I can't believe he knew my name. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But the song is Things in Life.
Yes.
Do you know the song?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Everything will be the same. It must change.
The only reason why I know that is because my dad gave me his record collection.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically what my dad done, he had like loads of records. So he used to be a DJ, but the pirate radio stations where they used to jump from roof to roof.
That's right.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but he used to jump from roof to roof to, play, set up the aerials and stuff, right? So then they had this mass, and he used to do it with his brother. So they set up and they had their record collection with them, and they used to play records back then. They don't have USBs back then.
No.
And that's what they used to play. They used to play the Dennis Browns, the Beres Hammonds, and so on and so forth. And I always thought to myself, okay, I'm liking this music. It feels really soulful. And then my dad went through all the artists of who they were. But he went through everything through me, from the Beatles to Jackson 5s to Elvis Presley. He didn't have one set genre of music. He wanted to be very eclectic. He wanted me to know about every type of music. As a songwriter that I wanted to become, he said, you're not going to just write one type of music. So it's a bit like your mum and dad. Open up your mind to know that different drum beats, different snares, different rhythms, they all can go together. Because at the end of the day, I think every artist takes elements of another artist.
And
then
the best ones do.
There you go. And makes it into something special, which makes them unique.
How we first had jazz, how we got... these people were innovatives. They put stuff together.
And that's important. That's so important to be able to do. So when you said it, I knew the record.
Absolutely. Things in life, honestly, and I've got a friend, Victor O'Meara Evans, it's his favourite track as well, which is kind of amazing. And talking about Victor, because Victor, we were doing No Problem together, and there was a thing called, oh gosh, what was it? Because he played moves in it. Black Lives. It was a series that was on, a documentary type. No, it was a talk magazine type show, and he played a character called Moves who commented on what was going on in the world. And there's a guest, Dennis Brown was a guest. And we were rehearsing, and he had to go off and rehearse there. And we were like, Dennis Brown, right, we're coming down there. As soon as we finished rehearsal, I don't even think that the man managed to say, we were gone, we were out. Straight down to LWT, London Weekend Television. And
that's old school.
Oh, definitely old school, definitely old school. And like, we're waiting for Dennis Brown. And then he came out and went, oh, hi. And he went, oh, well, go on, Sensimilia. You know me? You know who I am? Yeah, man, love our Sensimilia, because it's Sensimilia, of course, I've loved the name. He was playing in a place in Nottingham that the club starts at 12 o'clock at night and finishes at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
He said, come. Now, no mobiles, you know. Yes, I gone. Jump in that coach. I don't even know how I let my man know that I'm not coming back now, because I'm off to Nottingham and I'm sitting next to Dennis Brown, baby. Me and Dennis Brown. He sat next to me on the coach, and I was like, can you see who I'm with? And he was doing that as well. He's going to have a sense of me. I said, stop it. Stop this. Dennis Brown, the most amazing, beautiful man. Really beautiful, beautiful soul. Aww. Everything about that man was beautiful.
Now, see, this is stories I love to hear. See, that makes sense to me. So everyone has a different definition of what success means to them. Some people, it's waking up in the morning. Some people, it's fighting cancer. Some people, it's, passing their driving test, passing an exam. What does success mean to you, in your opinion, and your definition?
Well, success can be many things, as you've just said. If I'm talking about work, for me, it's about jobbing. Yes. It's about getting different jobs and exciting jobs that are different to what I've done before. And last year, I managed to get some beautiful jobs. Really, really happy about that.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I love the challenge of the work that we do as actors, being able to interpret somebody, find who that person is, and then make them real and bring them to life. And I don't have to be the star. I just need to have a good part in it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that is success.
That shows a humbleness in you as well.
I say, I don't know. I just like to work. I like working. And then with life, every morning when I wake up, and it's the most stupidness, I wake up and go, what's going to happen today? I literally go, oh, what's going to happen today? Oh, I'm going to get a phone call from somebody. Oh, something's going to really nice happen. Oh, I'm going to meet somebody. I mean, I don't know what it is, but something's going to happen that's going to make my day beautiful.
I like that.
And I wait for whatever that is. And then somebody comes up to me and goes, oh my God, you haven't seen you for ages. Oh, you're the wonderful thing today. Hi. Doesn't have to be much. But I just like waiting to see what exciting thing will happen.
Oh dear, I like that. If there was one quote that represented you as a person, what quote would you choose and why?
A quote.
I know words are powerful.
Yeah, they are. I'm trying to think of one quote that I think would be me. It's not a quote, but I would say that I have a half full glass.
All the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not half empty, it's half full.
I like to see that because no matter what you put in it, it will always rise up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. So if I said to you, and this is going to be a good one because I love how animated you are when it comes to these things. If I put you on a desert island for 24 hours and I said, Judith, okay, I'm leaving you there. I'll be on a boat back there and I'm watching. You're allowed to bring one musician, one president, and one activist to have a conversation for 24 hours. Who would you bring on that island?
Right. Well, regarding the activist, it would have been Malcolm X.
It's a good one.
Yeah, he is. But Ibrahim Touré is definitely.
No one's mentioned that before.
Well, he's just come out about, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Ibrahim Touré is, because he's recent and he's dealing with the modern.
Fresh.
Yeah, and how they're trying to assassinate him all the time. So him as an activist, between him and Malcolm X, but I think I'm veering towards him because he's modern. What was my other ones? A singer.
Singer and president.
Singer has to be Dennis Brown.
Yeah, well, there you go.
No doubt about that, Dennis Brown. And for a president, well, did he become president? He did, didn't he? Nelson Mandela.
Mm-hmm, he did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I would have Nelson because people don't respect the fact that he was in prison. They keep saying, he was a sellout. Nobody has ever had to put themselves in their life on their line. We sit there and be a keyboard activist. This man lived it. So
I like that line, keyboard activist.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
yes.
Yep.
Very good at that,
mm-hmm.
but not really putting our life on no line, you know? Not even going to the bleeding marches. We're just going, yes, go and march. Whilst I sit at home and have my bevy.
Do you know what? I actually prefer not to have a mobile phone. I feel too available.
Yes, you are, though. You are on call all the time.
I feel too available, so sometimes I switch it off.
That's very good. No, it is. It's very good. When I've left my phone at home by accident, and after the initial, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm like, oh my God.
You feel free.
I'm free.
But this is what I mean. The times when you were at home and we didn't have mobile phones and your friend would ring you on the house phone, right? You remember, right?
Yes.
Or you'll go to a payphone and you'll ring your friend from the payphone to the
yes.
house phone and you'll say, meet me in the corner in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
How ironic. You was there in the 20 minutes.
There was no way that you're going to text, which everybody does now. I'm running late. Because there's no texting. That you have to turn up, or otherwise they're not. You'll give them 10 minutes, or they're not coming, and then you're gone. But my mate Suzette Llewellyn, only she would do this. She would walk with a chalk. A chalk. Right on the floor. I have gone to. You're like, are you for real? You walked the. Yes, man. And I can see her doing it. I really can, because she's that together. I can see her doing that.
Oh man, so my next one for you is actually, I would love you to educate people who would like to become an actor. And this is so important now because the industry is way different way back then to the way it is now. If you could tell anybody anything about acting or getting in the industry or just feeling the confidence, which is so important, what would you say to anybody?
The thing I always say is you have to love rejection, because rejection is the biggest thing that's going to happen to you in this business. You're going to go for loads of jobs and you're not going to get a lot of them.
I agree with that.
And if you can't take rejection, please do not do this business, because you're getting little mini heart attacks every time. So if you're going to be sitting there swallowing in, I didn't get it, forget it. So that to me is the most important bit, is to learn to love rejection. And the second thing I would say is learn your craft, because a lot of people,
I agree with that one.
yeah, people, and I get it. Every time I've seen people do something well, you think it's easy, because when they do it well, you say, oh, I can do that. But actually, you do. Actually, I thought at one stage, everybody can act. I didn't think it was that much of a thing until I seen some people and I went, oh, no, so not everybody can do that then, because I don't know what you're doing there.
I realised that with writing. And I didn't mean to say, I was like, what a bunch of...
Yeah.
That don't make sense.
Yeah. It's like that, because you're invested in it. You know, you love it. So you just think, oh, it's not that difficult.
There's a passion in you that excites you to be able to do what you love. And people outside may not understand that passion that ignites the flame inside you to want to be able to articulate yourself in that way, or to be animated in that way. Because everything is energy. I'm sure everything, what we're doing now, the way we speak, what we touch, how we express ourselves, every single thing is energy, and it's so important that people know that.
I agree. I just think being in the arts, anything in the arts, if you don't love it, don't do it, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you going. I think I talk to a lot of singers and I just think, oh my God, how do you keep yourself motivated?
Yes.
Because it's hard out there to get your stuff out there. Yeah. And it's hard, and I think it's, even though there's more outlets, I think it's even harder to be seen.
Yeah.
Because there's so many outlets, and
I agree with that one.
yeah.
Because there's so many outlets out there, you don't know which ones are the real ones and which ones are the bad ones.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to look for example, good music, for example. But because there's so much, I don't want to say it in a bad way, but I'm just going to say it anyways. There's so much crap out there,
Yes.
in a sense, that you're like, okay, I need to filter down this crap to get to the good. And sometimes you have to listen to 100 songs to get one good song.
There you go.
Yeah, and it might be the same in acting. You might have to go for 100 auditions to get one great audition.
Absolutely. And that's why you've got to have resilience, because you may have to just keep going. And you get to a point, I think at this stage of my career, that why I just getting offered jobs that I can go, oh, yeah, no, yes, no. No, I'm still auditioning. I'm still on the treadmill, going to be seen for things and stuff. I don't mind it. I just think that there should be a stage in your life when you should be asked, would you like to do this job?
So you're saying that you still go to auditions, you have to still audition. Because this is one of my next questions as well, because it's important to understand it, because you've been doing it for so long. Is there a space in time where you do get asked? And I know you just said you still have to do auditions, but do people come up to you and say, Judith, I know how you act, I know that you can do this character, will you do this for me? Or is it a thing where you have to still go in there, every one of them, and still be like, well, no, I'm going to audition like everybody else?
In the community, I don't.
Okay.
So if there's somebody that doing a movie or a documentary or something, they'll go, Judith, would you do it? And they give me a lot of respect, and I love them for it. Out of my community, no.
Wow.
I mean, there was one, I just thought they were having a laugh. My agent said, sent me this thing and said, they want you to do a self-tape, because that's what we do now. We don't do face-to-face, a self-tape. So I read the script, and I thought, wait a minute, there's one line. And in the one line, it was 4 words. And I had to phone my agent and said, I don't know if this is the whole script. Is this the whole script? Because this is one line. And he said, no, that's it. I said, so they're sending me a script to do a self-tape for the one line. I said, tell them no, thank you. And what's worse is I knew the guy was producing it because he produced No Problem. Yet you're asking me to come and do one line. I said, no, I'm not doing that. So I didn't.
Some people have the audacity.
I just thought it was so rude. Really, really rude. And the thing is, I won't audition for one line. Definitely not. If you'd offered it to me, I'd have gone, oh, I'll do that. It's one line. You've offered it to me. Disrespectful. I'll do that. But no, babe, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
That's another thing that I want to ask you is, how do you know when to hold your morals in certain circumstances? So, for example, I'm just going to be random and say if a photographer goes out and does photography, or you can pull it in acting terms. Say if an actor says, oh, you can do this, but in order to get you in, you have to do it for free. How do you feel about people who do that to artists? Because people do that to artists, photographers, they do that to musicians. Yeah, you can do this for me, but do it for free. How do you know when to hold your integrity and your resilience for who you are and your self-worth?
Yeah, that makes me smile, because I will do stuff for free if it's a passion thing, if it's something that I believe in. But it won't be. I don't think it'll be an acting job. But if they've asked me to appear somewhere, and it's something that I'm passionate about, I will be there. You don't have to pay me for that. But if it's an acting job, unless it is somebody that I personally know, and I know that they ain't got no money and they desperately want to do this, and I will help them by being in it.
I like that.
I will do that.
See, because I know there are a lot of people out there who ask that question of, when do I hold my self-worth? When do I stop giving free? When do I stop working for free? When do I stop saying, okay, this person is the top of their game, and they've asked me to do this. When do I know when to say no? And I know a lot of people have that problem, especially in acting and so many other spaces.
Yeah.
It's really good to understand your perspective because you have so much wisdom and understanding of it. But also the question as well is, how do you manage to stay so long in the industry and to keep on going? Because with musicians, for example, you can have a hit today and you're nowhere tomorrow. How do you stay consistent in what you do?
Yeah, I think I was lucky that I was with a group of women called the BB Crew.
I remember you telling me about that.
And so I'm with these other actresses who we can share. And when you got those moments of no work coming in and you feel like a fraud, and I realise that lots of us go through this thing that we're a fraud, and then I can share and talk to them openly, honestly, and they will be there as my voice to just hear me and talk back to me and go, no, we are all in this. And this is where I said about the word love. You've got to love what you do, because that's what keeps me in the game. Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to get my next job. I can't wait for me to see who am I playing, what am I going to be doing. So yeah, I had like 7-8 months of nothing, and then you know, older people will be going, Judith, maybe you should think about something else. Like what? So I teach fitness, and because I've always trained. I love training. And it's also something I've got control over. So in this business, you need to control something in your life. So that's my thing of controlling, training. And so I teach fitness so I can earn some money whilst I'm waiting for my next job.
Understood.
So it works for me. I'm still in the game. I'm still in the game.
See, this is why I like it, because you're coming from a place of it doesn't matter what you're doing, you still know you can do other things as well. Because sometimes people have this mindset where you become an actress, you're on TV, and then everything works out because they're living in this bubble. Now, unless you are a family who live in a privileged situation, then that might be the case. But for people who have grown up in a different mindset or family based like yours, you've had to literally work for everything that you have. Completely different thing. And I want to make sure that people understand that you just don't get given it. And the same way you talk about rejection, which is so important, is people need to understand that also. If you don't have that, okay, I'm going to throw it over my head kind of attitude, and then move forward with a positive attitude. And another thing that I've been taught, and I'm sure you've been taught this as well, if somebody else gets a job, and even if you wanted that job, be happy for them.
Yeah, sometimes that doesn't work that easily.
I know.
You can get there eventually, but sometimes you're like, what? Depends, because if it's one of your brethren, you're like, oh man, I can't even cuss because I'm glad you got a job. But when it's someone you don't know, like, what? I could have done that. Cha. And then you go, Jude. Then you watch them. I thought I could do lots of stuff, and I've seen them. I go, Judith, you wouldn't have done that as well as them. So it's really weird, because there was this job. One of my girlfriends, Suzette, got this job. I wanted it. She got it. Yeah. And then when I saw how she played it, she was perfect. She was perfect. So you can want it, and then you watch them and you go, oh yeah, and I see why they got that.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm so glad you said that. So I've only got 2 more for you. Okay. My second to last one is, we talk about legacy all the time, and everybody has a different definition of legacy. People also think that legacy is when you have passed, but I don't believe that's true. No. I believe legacy is where you are now, the people you talk to, how you touch their lives, the way that you give them the words to help them grow and become the person that they need to become, and how they pass those words over. But for you, in your opinion and only yours, what does the word legacy mean to you?
Yeah, it's both of them. I think for me, the living thing about a legacy is that. This is staff announcement. Allow that to reception, please. Allow that to reception. Thank you. For me, I think what people use, it's I think legacy comes with longevity in a way. And because the longer you've been in the business and you're still doing it, people go, oh, yeah, you're still there. You're leaving a legacy because of your history of work that you have done.
Yes.
There's also a sort of, I think, a vanity thing about legacy that when I die, people still say your name. Well, you're not there. It doesn't even matter if people say your name or not. So that's just vanity, that section of it. But whilst you're here, whilst I'm here, I don't mind being acknowledged whilst I can hear it, you know?
I love that. Judith, before I have a chance to say thank you to you, I would love for everyone to be able to know where they can find you, find your movies, find your shows. Where can people find you to see you or get to know more about you?
Well, I think the best way to do that would be just to follow me on Insta.
There you go.
And I use my own name, Judith Jacob, 1313, because 13 is my favourite number because I was born the 13th.
I was going to say, when was you born?
I was born the 13th. It's my favourite number. I love number 13 and I love Friday. So Friday the 13th may be scary for some people.
No,
it is my best days. Come on, Sab. You down. You know. One of my best days. So yeah, on Insta, I tend to post a lot of stuff on there, and Twitter, also using my own name, Judith Jacob.
Judith, I'm laughing still. Judith, I want to thank you so much for taking your time. This is our second time.
Yes.
This is our second time coming. We made it this time. We made it this time. So I want to say thank you so much for bringing your energy, your positivity, your honesty, but more than anything, being vulnerable in a state of having a conversation to help other people. I am abundantly grateful, so thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. It's been awesome, guys. And I want to thank you so much for listening to the Yes People podcast. And please remember, you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or any other platform that you prefer listening to. You can also donate to the Yes People podcast by simply going to the Savia Rocks website or the Ask People podcast website and click on the community page. And this is where I say you can also listen every Tuesday to a pre-recorded version of the Ask People podcast, but you don't just happen to listen to the most recent version. You can go all the way back and find a podcast that resonates with you. And this is where I say the most important part. Thank you guys for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, from me, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
Society has made me want to validate me from my illusion that awaits me, from how the people will perceive me. It's my illusion that awaits me. We fight our war with ourselves. Our mental health is silencing us from our heart. Social media is taking our time from connecting with each other soul to soul. Why we dance on TikTok, strike a post on Instagram, fight the web on a Twitter feed, link a thing on Snapchat. Why we dance on TikTok, strike a post on a Instagram, fight the web on a Twitter feed, link a thing on Snapchat. Why we dance on TikTok?
Fabulous.
I got one
Well,
more.
thank you, darling. We've done it.
I've got one more request for you.
Different possibilities within inside me. We fight our war with ourselves. Our mental health is silencing us from our heart. Social media is taking our time from connecting with each other soul to soul. Why we dance on TikTok, strike a post on Instagram, fight the web on a Twitter feed, link a thing on Snapchat. Why we dance on TikTok, strike a post on Instagram, fight the web on a Twitter feed, link a thing on Snapchat. Why we dance on TikTok? 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 It's taking our time. Why we dance on TikTok? With each other soul to soul. Why we dance on TikTok? Strike a post on Instagram, fight the web on a Twitter feed, link a thing on Snapchat. Why we dance on TikTok? Strike a post on a Instagram. Fight the word on a Twitter feed.